How's it going, everybody? This Steve Ninja for Excelsior Movie Reviews. Thank you. I know there's one person that's already been following comments at Acres of Movies. Hey, how's it going? I already answered. For me, the favorite 90s comedies, Dumb and Dumber, put that in there. There's some of Mary's really great, too. I know I was really into the Farrelly Brothers back in the 90s, I guess. um, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I was looking at this. I'm not sure how I would consider that. What, three movie characters? Hmm. Maybe something from like Aliens. I like Ripley. Let's see if I'm live here. Can you hear me out there? Let's see if my audio's on. Make sure that somebody can hear me. Okay, good. Yeah, I was trying to check my phone here. It's like see if it's showing live. Wouldn't want to start talking and then not have everybody hear me. Yeah, thank you. Yes, I don't really put a big announcement on these when I do that. Bill Parcells, probably LT, Lawrence Taylor, back in the day. Not LaDainian Tomlinson was also LT later, but back in the Giants back in the 80s, early 90s. But as far as tonight, I'm going to do, as far as the digital code giveaways, I've had like 55 people sign up here for Gladiator 2 and Nosferatu. So yeah, the 55 people, they were not always the same people though. Just having to balance out get my notebook here. Just having to balance out that way that I had 55 people. Some people signed up for Gladiator 2 only, and some people signed up for the, I'm doing well. Thank you. How you doing? Are you in like England? Or I saw it. Well, you spelled program like we dropped the M and the E out there in the U.S., but I know in Europe they add the M-E at the end. I'm doing all right. It's kind of strange day. It was kind of somewhat warm here in Indianapolis, and so I'm going to go ahead and give the first codes away here, and then come back and see what's going on here. So usually I do this like I said, I don't really put a big announcement up. It's usually the reason I go live mainly is so I can give the codes away, to have it be live and just so people can see it, be more transparent. But I'm going to do the first one's going to be Gladiator 2. So with these codes, like I don't use digital codes, so if I didn't give these away to my subscribers, I have like one of my friends that he usually takes the digital codes I have, and if I don't do it live on my channel, so they're going to be given to somebody, and it's just two codes. All right, so I'm going to go present share screen. I've got the wheel here. So you can see the wheel. I can see myself there. Let's see, move this up a little bit. So the first one here, I've got the files listed here. Gladiator 2 is A, Nosferatu is B. So I've got A selected there, Gladiator 2. So I'm hoping maybe we get some different winners tonight, possibly. If you won before, that's fine too. I wasn't totally sure if I was going to go live tonight, or I thought might have to wait till tomorrow night, but I was able to get home early enough and feel well enough that I can go ahead and do this now. But so basically, you've got the wheel here. It's a spin. And last night was the deadline as far as getting signed up for this digital code giveaway. Excuse me here. I always do it like Friday night, usually Friday night, like 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I try to do it like the next night to give the codes away. So yeah, you get the wheel here. Like I said, they have 55 people on the wheel, and wherever the top of the arrow stops, that's who the winner is going to be. So we got my pen here. I'm going to write down whoever wins this, and whoever wins, I'll send a message through YouTube through the video I did for this digital code giveaway, and then if you can contact me through Instagram, then I can get the code to you tonight. So let's do Gladiator 2 and see who wins this, and then I'll come back after that and see if there's any messages out there, and then I'll switch over to Nosferatu. All right, so good luck to everybody. Like I said, you don't have to watch this live in order to win. You can always watch the replay later if you after I contact you and let you know you won, or anybody just wants to check to see who won. Okay, so I'm going to spin the wheel and see who won Gladiator 2. All right, here we go. See what happens here. David Williams. I think David's won before, maybe a long time ago. So congratulations. You just won Gladiator 2. Congratulations. Yeah. It's always nice to get some new winners or somebody that hasn't won in a while. Always nice to see that. All right, so I'm going to go back and see if we have any comments here. Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Williams, yeah. Yeah, it's always nice to root for people. It's always fun to win. Not everybody uses digital codes. That's it's something like I said. I don't use them. Like I'd really get 4Ks or Blu-rays and watch them that way. But sometimes it's nice to have a backup. Fugitive, yeah, Fugitive is a great movie. Speech, yeah, maybe, probably. I hope he doesn't pass anytime soon. But yeah, that's a great movie. That's a movie. The Fugitive. I'm a huge Harrison Ford fan, and just I don't want to spoil the movie necessarily, but I think once you get past the first like 30 minutes of that movie, it becomes a completely different movie and becomes awesome. At that point, there's just some things like some of the rib rejection early in the movie, and then obviously something really almost impossible happens in the movie. that it's like how once it gets past that, and it's like it becomes a brilliant movie at that point. Action 2000s. Wow. I had to think about it. I'd have to think about what that's in the 2000s. Best action scenes. Well, I love. Well, I guess that's 99. I'm thinking The Matrix was 1999. You think of. I had to look up 2000s movies. I mean, Gladiator was 2000. It had some good action in it, but look it up here. 2000s actions movies. My phone here. I mean, Casino Royale is pretty great. Dawn of the Dead. That's 2004. The remake. That's really great. 300's really great. The Bourne movies. The Bourne Identity. Sin City. That's a fantastic movie. One movie that has some really great action in is if you've ever seen Apocalypto from from Mel Gibson directed it. The movie Pitch Black, really great with Vin Diesel. That's got some great action in it. Just going through my list here. Yeah, Swordfish. That's with the Hugh Jackman. Hi Tiana, how you doing? I already gave one code away, and that's I'm doing the digital giveaway tonight. Yep. I might go ahead and do Nosferatu, and David Williams won Gladiator 2, the digital code for that. I might go ahead and do the code giveaway for Nosferatu, and then come back and then just chat for a while. Yeah, so I had to think about it. Like, I like the 2000s a lot, and 2010s. Like, it's hard to. The ones that are most memorable for me are like 90s, 80s, 70s movies. That's really my peak. It's that preferred time, that 70s through 90s movies. I guess the late 21st century or no, 20th century movies. After that, it's like just some great movies that have come out since then, since the year 2000. I just the ones I remember the most are the classic ones. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the wheel. So A was Gladiator 2. B, open up Gladiator. B is Nosferatu. All right, Nosferatu. Like I said, there were 55 people that signed up for both, and some were not. Some people signed up just for Gladiator 2, and some for Nosferatu. So it just happened to work out to have exactly 55 people. All right, so like I said, the wheel. You'll see the top of the needle of the spin. Wherever this stops, that's who the winner is going to be. So let's see if we get somebody different here on this one. Hopefully, let's see. Let's go ahead and do this, and I'll come back and look at the chat and everything. Okay, congratulations. Good luck, everybody. We're going. Wow, Oliver. Wow, congratulations, Oliver. I think I think Oliver almost won Gladiator 2 also. Congratulations. So you just won the digital code for Nosferatu. Oliver, congratulations. I think Oliver maybe the first time Oliver's won, possibly. I know Oliver signed up for other codes before. I'm not totally sure if Oliver's won previously, but congratulations. I'm going to put that, got you marked in my notebook here. And I'm going to come back. And I'm going to get rid of the wheel and just go me. Okay. Yeah. Look at the commando. Where should I? Commando. Yeah. The sequel. Maniac Mansion movie. Risk movie. No. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen Sudden Impact in a while. Yeah, that's was the Dirty Harry movies. Clint Eastwood. Let me tell you what, Clint Eastwood, like it's amazing. Those guys, we lost Gene Hackman recently. He was 95. Clint Eastwood's like, I think Eastwood's like 94. We look at it. look it up here. I think he's retired from directing. That'd be interesting. As far as cinematography, you can make Hawaii look really great. But just looking at my phone here, Sudden Impact. Yeah, so Sudden Impact was in 1983, starring Clint Eastwood. Yeah, I need to give those movies a rewatch for all the like, Dirty Harry movies and everything. Just looking at the cast on my phone. And Clint Eastwood, and it's like, yeah, he's 94. He's about to turn 95 on May 31st. So it's incredible, incredible. It's like he says he's finally retired from directing. So, like, wow, I actually like that movie, Juror Number Two. That was like released late last year. I don't know if it got any kind of Oscar nominations or anything, but Clint Eastwood. Have you ever seen Million Dollar Baby? It's like, it's like that movie. The cast in that movie, Hilary Swank and Morgan Freeman and Clint Eastwood's like that movie's just heartbreaking, but really good. I mean, was it El Torino or I think it's the one he did as well. It's like yeah, it's like I didn't think the mule was all that bad. It wasn't great, but um, he's not a bad. Unforgiven obviously starred and directed that movie. Yeah, Magnaforce. Okay, yeah. The Deadpool wasn't that with Jim Carrey? I think he didn't make a cameo in that movie. Let's see. It was 1988. Yeah, Jim Carrey. Johnny Squares is his name. I forgot Liam Neeson's in that movie too. Hmm. Yeah, I need to give all those movies a rewatch. It's been a long time since I've seen the Dirty Harry movies. What's your favorite movie? Cinema. As far as the style, I mean, like the movie, the theater itself, or favorite movie cinema. I mean, like the favorite genre. I mean, as far as movie theaters, I go to like AMC and Regal. As far as genres, I really like horror movies a lot. Action movies, comedies, um, serious movies. I'm a big Criterion fan, but I love movies in general. So I'm not one of those people that just only likes the really award winning type movies or movies that are just big on cinematography and Hauser. I think Paul Walter Hauser. I think I just watched a movie with him tonight. Hey, Corey, how's it doing, man? Yeah, Paul. I think I just saw a movie with him tonight. Let's see. Look it up here. I want to look it up, just make sure. Yeah, he's in Cobra. He's from Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai. Yeah, I just watched Cruella tonight, which I mean I saw that movie like 2 or 3 times in the theater. I own it on 4K as well. I love that movie. It's Emma Stone, you know, uh, Paul Walter Hauser, but I love his character in Cobra Kai. Though he just he wants to be in Cobra Kai so badly, and it's just his character is so funny. But in Cruella, has like a British accent. Obviously, so does Emma Stone. I love that movie though. I remember, like I said, I saw it 2 or 3 times in the theater. It was at that time during beginning of COVID that what was that Cruella? Cruella was in 2021. That was big rebound year. That was in May of 2021. Big rebound year for cinema basically. But after COVID, it shut down everything for a while. I remember that year in 2020, how in the U.S. anyway, theaters shut down sometime like in March of 2020, and then they reopened in around August of 2020. And I think the first movie I saw in theater was Unhinged with Russell Crowe, which is just a wild movie. It's not. It's. I'm not. I've only seen it once. I'm not sure if I'd be dying to see it again. But Russell Crowe is really nutty in that movie. I just say he's just insane. And but I remember like October 2020, Regal shut down again, kind of indefinitely, and it didn't reopen until like March of 2021, and so that's when I started going to AMC quite a bit. Favorite cinema theater, yeah. I'm kind of partial to Regal. We I think we only have like one Cinemark in Indianapolis or near Indianapolis. It's mostly here. It's mostly Regal and AMC are the two main ones. We also have a Landmark theater as well, which is a they show like some mainstream movies and also like art house and indie films and stuff like that. That's kind of nice to see. Sometimes you'll see movies there that aren't showing at Regal or AMC. Usually, it's like unless a movie gets like a Nora this year, unless it starts getting some Oscar buzz. A lot of times the AMC and Regal won't show those movies until they get some kind of buzz or maybe like an Oscar nomination. That's when you start seeing those low budget movies. Like Anora was only like 6 million to make, which is actually kind of cheap now to make a movie for 6 million. That's unbelievable. Richard Jewell. I was thinking about that today. Like he was Richard Jewell in that movie, and I thought he was fantastic in that movie. It's just about the Atlanta, you know, Olympic scare, basically with there was like a bomb threat or something like that at the time. McAfee. I've never met Pat McAfee, but he's been in the news a lot. He was the punter for the Indianapolis Colts, and he went. I guess he went to West Virginia, and recently the Indiana University stole. Well, they picked their basketball coach basically to coach at IU. Obviously, the coach Darian, I'd say like Devere or something like that. Um, Obviously, he wanted to go to IU. He's from Iowa originally, and he wanted to. Indiana University is kind of a next tier above above West Virginia, and he after 1 year he left West Virginia, and he's going to IU to coach the Indiana Hoosiers in this coming season. So we're excited about that. I think he's an outstanding coach. Like he was at Creighton and Drake. I think he's like assistant coaches at those schools. Yeah, I've never met Pat McAfee, but he's kind of interesting though. He's he's he really. I mean, he wants Indianapolis to the sports franchises here to actually be good again, like they used to be back in the '90s and 2000s, and so he wants them to be good. So like the media in Indianapolis are so weak as far as criticizing sports franchises and stuff. And Pat McAfee actually says what he means. He's not afraid to speak up and say give his opinion as far as the media. A lot of the media people that in Indianapolis they don't want to upset the players, so they won't get on them about when they're not trying to win or where they're not being professional. He doesn't. Just reading notes here. Yeah, Miles Teller, he was great in Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, Siskel and Ebert. When I was a kid, I loved watching Siskel and Ebert. That's definitely in my office in this next room behind me. I've got a picture of Roger Ebert. It's from the Life Itself documentary that they did on him near the time that he was starting to close to being passing away. Let's see, Roger Ebert. Look at the On YouTube, I love watching Siskel and Ebert, watching those old clips. I mean, when I was a kid, like that was like appointment television for me. Usually, we saw them like it's on Sunday a lot of times. Loved it when those two would kind of go at each other and start to start going. Yeah, life itself. This poster, I've got that. It's like the mini, like a small poster, but it's framed. It's in my office in the other room. But it's a great documentary, life itself. Wow. Okay. Wow. Bob Knight. Yeah, he was when I was a kid. Bobby Knight was legendary. He'd go off on referees and players and that kind of stuff like that. But he was an outstanding coach, and one of his proteges was Mike Krzyzewski, Coach K from Duke Blue Devils, and Krzyzewski took it even further as far as winning more games and more championships, and but it was because of Bob Knight that he learned from him. Movie series. Wow. So, and I would go. Well, first one would be Jaws for sure. Steven Spielberg, 1975. We're in the 50th anniversary of Jaws now. Jaws would be one of them for sure. The original Star Wars, the original Godfather, the first one, and probably maybe like Empire Strikes Back. I mean, so you'd want something if you were doing something like that. You'd want something that would be a mass audience would love. Not necessarily you know maybe the most cinematic movies or most important movies ever, but they're popcorn movies. And I mean, the original Godfather is one of my favorites of all time from Francis Ford Coppola. Was in 1972. And Godfather 2 is pretty good as well. It's Al Pacino. I think Al Pacino is one of my favorite actors. But yeah, the original Jaws. I can't believe that movie's 50 years old now. Yeah, I haven't been to a drive-in in so many years. I mean, since like the 80s. A lot of the drive-ins, there's like one or two drive-ins like near right around Indianapolis. One's on like the west side of Indianapolis. It's like Tibbs, Tibbs. It's in the west side of Indianapolis, and I think there's some others. I think there's one like in Shelbyville that's near Indianapolis. Yeah, yeah, that's those two. I mean, when they were younger, when like the '70s or like early '80s, they would go at each other so much. That was so much fun to just see them kind of disagree in a movie. One would love a movie, and the other one hated it, and they you know it's almost like they almost kind of got into fist fights at the time. And then I think near the end, like in Gene Siskel, he passed away in '99, I think, and near that last year or two, you could tell his health was kind of declining, and I think maybe the last 4 or 5 years, he and Roger Ebert just became closer and respected each other, and I don't know if they were ever really true friends necessarily, because the two of them in Chicago, they worked for rival newspapers. Uh, One was Chicago Sun Times, I think, and the other one's can't recall they were like they're actually the two newspapers were like right across the street from each other, and they were rivals. And so those two didn't like each other because they were working for the rival paper. It's just like it's amazing to hear people talk about newspapers nowadays. Like, it's like that's that's so in the past. In a lot of ways. I'm still glad newspapers are still around. My dad gets like the Sunday paper, still reads it that way, and you know it's great that you still have journalists and especially with sports, um, have people that still cover it. Yeah, Chicago Tribune. I think I think Gene Siskel was with the Chicago Tribune. I think, and Ebert was with the other one across the street. But yeah, Chicago was this Chicago Sun Times? Yeah, but it's so great though. It's like I love watching those, hearing their opinions on different. They'll do like their favorite horror movies from the '80s or favorite movies from the '90s, and they'll do their top 10 list for the year. I remember the movie. It's called Hoop Dreams, where Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel had that little documentary that's on the Criterion Collection, and those are the two that really promoted that movie so much. And it ended up getting. I think it got some. I don't. I'm not sure if it got any Oscar nominations. Usually documentaries like that aren't recognized as much by the Oscar committee, but as far as box office, it started getting more and more screenings because of Roger Ebert, Siskel and Ebert talking about it so much, and just it ended up being their in 1994. It ended up being their in the top 10 favorite movies for the year. And they really championed that movie. It's a really great. Yeah, yeah, the thumbs. But I mean, Roger Ebert, he also gave a star rating as well. And on the show, they gave thumbs up, thumbs down, which for me, I have a. It's great they did that. They're known for that. But for me, it's kind of how people view movies now. It's either like either it's great or it's terrible. Yeah, it's great or it's awful. It's to me, movies can be kind of in a range of top, top 5 stars or 4 stars. You can have a 3.5. There's some movies that have flaws. I look at a movie like The Fisher King from Terry Gilliam. Like I think that movie for me it doesn't really have flaws, but I would say somebody else seeing the movie for the first time are going to see flaws in that movie. But for me, I've watched that movie so many times I don't see the flaws anymore. Yeah, where do you live? Uh, do you live? You said you knew Bob Knight. Do you live near Indianapolis or Chalamet? Yeah, Timothy Chalamet is I mean, he's an up and coming great actor. I think I really like the Complete Unknown. I'm familiar with Bob Dylan. I think a lot of people probably are not. They probably don't know Bob Dylan, so it didn't do great at the box office. I think it gets a Blu-ray and 4K release, or at least a Blu-ray release on April 1st. I plan to get that one. It should have a digital code to it as well, so I'll probably be doing one of these for that. I actually have 2 other digital codes already ready to go already for April, so it might be sometime after that. But yeah, they loved Hoop Dreams. It's that movie. That movie's so emotional because you got these 2 kids from Chicago. I think one is kind of from kind of wealthy family, and the other one's not. The documentary starts off one way with one player starting off really well, and then the other player is too small and doesn't really know how to play with you know, the kids are the really tall kids, and then near the end of the movie it flips, and then the other one's the one that was struggling in the beginning is now much better, and the one that was dominant as a young person is really having issues with life, and he had an injury. I think he had like a knee injury or something that he was dealing with. Yeah, when that goes stuff. Yeah, yeah. I mean that was great though. When you see something that the 2 of them both agreed on, and it was like them against the world instead of each other, and they weren't at each other's throats. They were like they found some common ground there. That was great. That just when they actually agreed on a movie. I mean I loved it when loved the drama, but after a while it kind of got a little bit old. It was nice at some point when the 2 of them were on the same page and kind of getting closer as you know coworkers, and that they weren't that much different as far as one. To me, that's like I say, movies are subjective, so it's like one person can love a movie and the other person can hate it, and it doesn't necessarily mean the movie's bad. It just means that one connected with the movie more than the other person. And so it's like, and sometimes movies that don't connect. Sometimes movies don't connect with me extremely well the first time I see them. It's like I have to watch it, rewatch it to, after a while, I can learn to really like a movie. Just like I said, some movies may have some flaws to them. A Man Called Otto comes to mind with Tom Hanks. Well, I think it has a lot of flaws to it, but the positives far outweigh the negatives for me. It's like I love that story. The movie's a little bit too long, and a lot of flashbacks and stuff like that. And it's based on what was a Swedish movie. That was a remake of that, like a Swedish film. And there's some really dark subject matter earlier in the movie. Right. Show it again, man. Yeah, Dad, do Hoop Dreams too. Yeah, it would be way different now. Like you watch in that movie in 1994, a lot of times documentaries take 2-3 years to make, so it may have been like early 90s. I think it was early 90s when they started filming that movie. It got released in 94, and that's so great. Like you talked about Bob Knight earlier. There's a scene where they go to a Nike camp, and you can see Bobby Knight and Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino just lost today to John Calipari. Pitino's with St. John's. This is basketball season. Anybody that follows college basketball, this is the big tournament, as some people would say. And but it was great to see all these Jim Boeheim. Some of these people have retired now from coaching. But I think when I got the Hoop Dreams, I had seen Hoop Dreams before, but when I bought the Criterion release for it and saw that scene with Bobby Knight, it's like he literally died like within about 2 weeks after I saw that. So because I was just thinking, oh, it's Bobby Knight. He was, I think he was like in his early, I think maybe in the early '80s, possibly when he passed away. I think he had like dementia or something, or Alzheimer's. Or he was getting up there, but let's see, movie history. Wow. Okay. One scene in movie history. Yeah, I love it. Thelma and Louise. Thelma and Louise. I don't know if you can stage that in your living room, but if you know how that movie ends, I tell people like when I was younger, when I saw that movie, Thelma and Louise, in the early '90s, I remember thinking as a younger person at the time, like the decision they had to make at the end of the movie, like I'm not sure how that I took that ending at the time. Like, and I ask people all the time, did Thelma and Louise, did they win or did they lose? It's hard to say. It's just, everything kind of rolls against them. It's so tragic in a lot of ways, but the decision they had to make, and they're having a lot of fun, but then they have a major decision to make at the end of the movie, and it's incredible. Just how I take that now as a person in his early 50s compared to when I was younger. Like I can accept that ending so much better now than I could then. To think to think of that. See, I have I've been to one. I saw the Pacers once this season against the Chicago Bulls, and it was a free game, a free ticket. Um, the Pacers won. Actually, I went with like three other friends. We got the tickets for free, so I just had to you know, buy dinner at the because it was like a 7 o'clock start, so I had to leave work and at 5 o'clock and get over to the friend's house, and then we all drove to what's called Gamebridge Field House now. It used to be it used to be called Conseco Field House, and I actually used to work for Conseco, the insurance company, and then it was called Bankers Life Fieldhouse after that. Now it's called Gamebridge. Um, that facility opened in 2000. I think it was a '99 2000 season. It's like amazing that place has been around that long for 25, 26 years now. Pacific Height. I think I've seen that. Let me look it up here. I think I have. Let's see. It's been a while if I have seen it. Looking it up on my phone right now. Well, it's 1990. I'm sure I've seen it. John Schlesinger. he did. He did Midnight Cowboy. Like, oh wow. I think of that, man. It's how that movie had won an Oscar, and he said they he got like an X rating originally, and um, and then that's with Dustin Hoffman and John Voight, and the it was called an MPAA at that time. Now it's just called an MPA. But they came to John Schlesinger and said, if you can just cut out one scene for that movie, cut out if you can just cut out like one scene, one frame for the movie, we could we can give it a new rating, give it an R rating, and then it can be shown, in theaters across all over the U.S. And he said, "No, nope, I'm not doing that. No, this movie just won Best Picture. I'm not going to cut anything out of this movie." There's definitely at least a couple controversial scenes in that movie that if you see it, you know what I mean. But that movie just has a amazing ending. Dustin Hoffman and John Voight are so great in the movie. If you ever seen Midnight Cowboy, that's you'll know it's how dark that the big matter was. But I did actually, yes, I did. And there was one game comes to mind as far as the Pacers in the mid '90s, and that 90 that was a magical period for the Pacers. But in 1995, I got to see Michael Jordan when he came back to play in the NBA after playing like a year and a half with the Chicago White Sox baseball team, and that was actually a free game as well. That was against the Bulls, and that was a free ticket as well because one of my friends, his brother, had gotten free tickets to that game, and it was like a couple weeks early before the game, before Michael Jordan had announced that he was gonna go back to the NBA, stop playing minor league baseball and go play again. And so I got to see that game with Michael Jordan when he was wearing number 45, and that was amazing. That's when that was at the old Market Square Arena facility, which it was a great facility for sound. Um, as far as concert sound, it was great, but it was way too small for the NBA at the time. It only sat like maybe 16,000 people, and at that time, the media had bought like one end behind the backboard, one end of the floor. They had bought out all these tickets for these people that had people that had tickets to go to the game. They bought all their tickets, and the media all lined up on that one end of the floor behind the backboard, and that's when they decided this facility is too small for the NBA for major NBA events like the All Star game, that kind of thing. So that was great to see Michael Jordan. That was the only time I've ever seen Michael Jordan, but that was against Reggie Miller and, like I said, Rick Smits, Dale Davis. That that was a magical period. I've never seen Day of the Locust, but I've definitely heard of it. I've not seen it before, but yeah, he was amazing. He would not the integrity that he had. He said, "I'm not going to cut anything from Midnight Cowboy," and and the NBA came back like a month later or so and gave him his R rating anyway, like without him having to make a single cut for the movie. That's a pretty amazing. Timothy Hutton, yeah, Timothy Hutton's Taps is really great. That movie is really dark. Hey, how's it going? Thank you for joining us tonight. We did our digital code giveaway earlier. Let's see, it looks like the two winners, David Williams won digital code for Gladiator 2, and Oliver won the one for Nosferatu. So I'm going to message them tonight and let them know they won the codes. Marshawn Lynch, yeah, he might be able to. I just saw him in that movie, Ki Hu Kwan, the guy that won the Oscar for, from Temple of Doom. He won the Oscar for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I just saw him in that. Marshawn Lynch was in that movie. Look at the title of it, but yeah, he was okay in that movie. He didn't really have a lot of lines. It was mostly action stuff they had in the movie, but he was, as a player, he was a monster. Looking it up right now. Marshawn Lynch. He was a beast mode, as they call Marshawn Lynch back in the day. Yeah, filmography. So yeah, he's got some filmography. He was in Love Hurts was the name of the movie that Marshawn Lynch was in. Not a lot of the movie, but yeah, yeah, March Arena. That was an old building. It's like that. By the end of the '90s, that movie was starting. That building was starting to fall apart. Like everything about the building was falling apart. It was becoming kind of unsafe in some ways. But it had a great sound though back in the day. And I went to so many concerts in that building. Saw Kiss and Metallica and a lot of like hard rock and metal. A lot of bands back then, and it just had great sound. Yeah, the stream's been going well at Acres of Movies. They have, and Corey been here. Tiana loves movies. Was here. I'm not sure if she's still here tonight right now, but a lot of people have dropped in. I kind of went a little bit late tonight, like almost like 10:30 or so. I wasn't 100% sure I'd be able to go live tonight. I was almost thinking about going tomorrow night. 46 points, yeah, yeah. It's a Michael Jordan's like he was in my era. He was like the legendary player that I saw back then. Even though I wanted the Pacers to beat the Bulls all the time, but it was still couldn't deny how great he was in his day, especially in the '90s. Michael Jordan just dominated that decade. It's incredible. He when he came back and played for the Washington Wizards, I think I think he was like a co-owner or something like that. I'm not sure, but he wasn't as good when he came back with the Wizards. He was past his prime at that point. Yeah, we're saying hello. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was not. He always seemed to be so quiet. Marshawn Lynch was always quiet when he was press conferences in the NFL. I always thought he was too quiet, and it's just unbelievable. He actually is trying to act now. Did a change? Yeah, that was out like a Valentine's Day weekend or right around Valentine's Day. And it was the same. I think it was the same. Then at the same time that they released Captain America: Brave New World. I think it was around that time. Yeah, yeah. I did it. The acoustics were so great in that building. It's like when they built Conseco Fieldhouse. It's like I think they've improved the acoustics in that building now, but it just. I saw Van Halen at the what's called it's called uh, Gamebridge Fieldhouse now, but I thought the sound was horrible. Like it's like myself and I went with another friend that's a big Van Halen fan, and we were up so high, like you couldn't hear anything. The band was playing. I think the last two times I saw Van Halen, their sound system was awful. It just wasn't very loud, and you can hear this echo bouncing off the wall too. It's like they just didn't build that building for acoustics. Steve Buscemi. I really like Fargo. Fargo's a great. Yeah, Steve Buscemi is so great in that movie, and and he's in Big Lebowski also. He's Donnie. You know, he's great though. And yeah, that's like what was it in? Was it Happy Gilmore or Billy Madison? Can't recall the one where Adam Sandler gives him a call and Steve Buscemi. It's like he has a sincere apology to Steve Buscemi, and Buscemi he's got his list of people he wants to kill, and that's oh wow. I think my niece is here tonight. Paige, this is my niece, Paige. Paige, you're kind of late though. What's going on here? 11:14. I don't know. Good to see you, Paige. Love you. You back here. Hey, how do you know, Brent? Last Dance is great. Yeah, that's a great documentary. I think it's. I've heard recently that he and Scottie Pippen, because of that move, because of the documentary, they're not talking anymore. I think they're. I don't think they were really close friends, but it's kind of sad those two won 6 NBA championships, and now they don't. They were. I think they recognize they were never really friends that much as kind of surprising when you think that you go through the battle and you win. You can play with somebody, but be never really close as far as friendship. But Jordan, I think Jordan doesn't really have a lot of. He doesn't really like to have a lot of friends. Like I think he's so competitive. I think that Michael Jordan is just not easy to be friends with. I think he's a nice guy and everything, but he's so competitive that even Scottie Pippen can't even be friends with him. Physical media, yeah. So a complete unknown. Go to this question. What I plan a complete unknown is one I'm definitely planning on getting. I think recently we just heard that Tombstone is getting a 4K release. Like Tombstone, I just bought that really awful Blu-ray edition for Tombstone, and which it has that issue where it's way too dark. If you know what I'm talking about, so I'm hoping this 4K is a huge improvement over that. I think it's a 4K Blu-ray release, and I'm hoping that's exactly what everybody's been looking for. Amazing how many movies are getting released on physical media now. Like that, I've been holding on to the DVDs for so many years. Like a Simple Plan, two Sam Raimi movies, a Simple Plan, and also The Gift have finally gotten 4K releases, and I bought both of those. David Fincher's Panic Room, finally bought that one. That's on 4K. These movies were stuck on DVD for years, and some of them had like European like Blu-ray region B, releases, but now they're getting got 4K releases. I think in May, I think Lethal Weapon is finally getting a 4K release, which that movie it's like I've got the Lethal Weapon um, series on Blu-ray, the 4 disc Blu-ray set. And I think 2, 3, and 4 look fine, but the original Lethal Weapon looked awful on Blu-ray. Just all the smearing and everything looked terrible. I'm hoping that the 4K is a huge improvement over that. I'm trying to fall behind on the chat now. Dave, yeah, everybody say hello. John Cusack. Wow. John Cusack, legend for my childhood. He's great in High Fidelity. Great in that movie. John Cusack's just like legendary from my childhood. So much great stuff for that period. Select making dictionary. Which director? Maybe Stanley Kubrick. He had that wild, insane look on his face. Stanley Kubrick, especially later in his life. Stanley he looked insane later on. Stanley Kubrick. He's got that great face, and a New Yorker that lived in England for the last 40 years of his life, or 30 years or so of his life. No, no, I haven't. That reminds me of the movie Clue, though. I love Clue, the '80s, but it was '85, something like that. That's a great movie. Yeah, Simple Plan. On our live stream last Monday, Corey was one of the judges. Yeah, I brought up Simple Plan. Huck's Pop Culture Cafe. Just he voted for Vestron on that one, but what a great movie though. It's like I said, so dark. I didn't want to spoil the plot for the movie, but that's a Sam Raimi movie. Yeah, Lethal Weapon's coming out in April. Yeah. Oh, was it April? Okay, it was. I saw. See, I've got on my phone. I have a photo where it said May 20th, but maybe it's been moved up now. Yeah, because I'm looking. I've got, you can't really see it, but on here it shows a May 20th uh, date. It says Richard Donner's Lethal Weapon 1987 is also expected to arrive on 4K 520, but hopefully, I'm hoping it does get released in May or in April, because I want to get that one. That's like I said, I'm okay with the way that 2, 3, and 4 looked. Um, I'm okay with those, but I definitely want to get the original Lethal Weapon on 4K. Like it's, I think that just that transfer hopefully would be much better. Alan Rickman, yeah, Alan Rickman's so great, Die Hard, and the Harry Potter movies, and yeah, 90s. Well, I don't know. Good question. I don't know. Alan Rickman was so great, though. Okay, you pre-ordered the 4K. Okay, I need to do that then. Yeah, yeah. If it's getting released in April, I got to get it as soon as possible. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Yeah, big time, big time Star Wars fan. Love love Empire Strikes Back's my favorite, but I love the original Star Wars. Also, you can't really see it over here, but um, the other bedroom I have Return of the Jedi, and if I can get this over here. Oh, can you see that? You see the Star Wars poster in its frame there. You've got Halloween, got James Bond over there. The Raiders Lost Ark on the other wall. So, but in my other room, the other office behind me, I've got Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes. Where basically where my desk is, I can see Empire Strikes Back is in front of me all day long. And when I work from home, I'm always seeing that poster Empire. I would do well. I don't know. William Hurt as a villain. I don't know. Jeremy Iron. They're both passed away now. That's really sad. But no, Jeremy Irons is still alive. I'm sorry. I think the Julian Sands passed away now. Jeremy, I would do Jeremy Irons. He was he in Die Hard 2? I thought he was a great villain in that. So William Hurt was a great actor as well. I can't imagine William Hurt. He passed away before Captain America, Brave New World, and I just can't imagine him as the Red Hulk. Even though I think he's a, I don't know if he's a, I don't know if it necessarily would say he's a better actor than Harrison Ford, but I think as far as Red Hulk, Harrison Ford was better for that part. So in the character William Hurt played in the Marvel movies was so subtle. I don't know if he I don't know if he would be a great villain necessarily, or especially not a great Red Hulk. 90s now, love the 90s. We're 90s. I miss that decade so much. I almost had a major. I actually did a major car accident in 1998. I almost killed in a car accident that year, where my it was a Ford Tempo, got hit by a cement truck. Actually, the cement truck, it drove me off it pushed me off the to the side of the road, and then it fell on top of the back of my car. So it's like but I love the 90s. Love the early 90s grunge music, even though it's changed hard rock and metal. Uh, some people maybe not for the better necessarily, but it was popular at that time. So I was 1994. I was 21. So yeah, I love that decade. That's my decade as far as movies and music. I love 70s and 80s music as well, but I just as far as a young adult, I connected with the 90s quite a bit. Sorry, supposed to, yeah, you see, Buddy Cop movie, Axel Foley. Love the Beverly Hills Cop movies. Eddie Murphy is so great in the especially early '80s. Trading Places and 48 Hours, so great. I credit Eddie Murphy for saving SNL, Saturday Night Live, from they would have gone under if it weren't for him. he's just a young person. I love his comedy albums from that time period. Those comedy albums would never work now. It's just some of the stuff in that. It's like, wow, it's yeah. Jeremy Irons is still alive. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking Julian Sands. If you heard that story about him, where he just basically disappeared for a period of time, and they finally found his body. It's really sad. So I'm thinking of Julian Sands. But yeah, Jeremy Irons, he was great in Die Hard 2, and just so many great movies. He's an outstanding actor. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's taken me years. Sometimes I wonder as I get older if that I had a major head injury from that. So I wonder if that's if I'm having issues from that now. I don't know. I have issues with my sinuses. It causes me to kind of stutter sometimes. Thank you. I'm trying to casting call Lars from down like for like a documentary. Who would I put in that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe could you put Timothy Chalamet in for Lars Ulrich? I don't know. He's who would make a good Lars in a movie? I don't know. He was so great back then that I could just kind of a short guy. I mean, I'm 6'3". I think Lars is like, what was he like 5'3", 5'4", something like that, and he's just a monster behind the drum kit. Like he's such a different kind of drummer. Some people don't think he's a great drummer, but yeah, who would you put in for Lars Ulrich for if they did a documentary on Metallica? That'd be interesting to see who they put in for like Cliff Burton and Dave Mustaine. I I, I loved Oppenheimer. Wicked, it's like I had never seen the Broadway play, so I just didn't know that music at all. I like that story a lot. I love the ending, and I loved a lot about that movie. It's just a little bit too long, I think. I look forward to the sequel though, and I think it'd be interesting. I love the Wizard of Oz, obviously. Yeah, Oppenheimer is a fantastic movie. I think it's one of Christopher Nolan's best movies. Some people will disagree on that. I was surprised to hear so many people how polarizing the movie ended up being. I thought it was brilliant. Actors in it. Well, I mean, I have like a video on my channel as far as my 10 favorite actors, and Gene Hackman's on that list. Harrison Ford's on that list. Um, Denzel Washington's on that list. Um, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro on there. Yeah, I'd have to look at the some great ones though. It's that time period. Look at my channel here. I had like 10 on there, but yeah, Gene Hackman was on there, and I think he's a phenomenal. Let's see if I can find the thumbnail for it on my phone here and see. Trying to find the thumbnail. Don't remember how I ranked them all, but Gene Hackman was extremely high on the list, and I think he's very sad that he passed away recently. But like I said, he was 95 years old, so it's you know that's a long life for anybody to be around. And I have a 10. I have 10. I have video on 10 actors that have one at least one Oscar nomination, but have never won. Harrison Ford's on that list. I think. Let me know in comments. What do you think of? Do you think Harrison Ford should ever get a like an honorary Oscar? Because you think uh, Samuel L. Jackson and Angela Bassett both have honorary Oscars. Lou Taylor. I'll just look that up. See, I want to look that up here. I think Harrison Ford was really great. I mean, he's kind of overlooked because of Indiana Jones and Han Solo, but he was great. He got Oscar nomination for Witness. He was great in Mosquito Coast. and he's great in The Fugitive, and so many great movies that he's done that I think an honorary Oscar is something that he's at what 82 now. I think he's kind of I make the point that Christopher Plummer was like the I think he may have been the oldest actor to win an Oscar. He was 82 at the time, and I think Harrison Ford's not really trying to win Oscars anymore. Let me look at that name. Ooh, curious to know. I'm sure I know who this person is. I'd have to see the picture. Okay. Well, he looks like Glenn Powell a little bit. Lou Taylor, is it Pucci? Wow, he looks like Glenn Powell. That's interesting. He's 39 from New Jersey. Let me look at his filmography. I know I've seen that face before. Oh, he was in Fast Food Nation. Dear Lord, that was wow. That's a. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, Richard Linklater, Fast Food Nation. That was one of the most shocking kind of endings to the movie. It's hard to watch. Southland Tales. Okay, he was in Bad Boys. Boba Fett #1. Wow, is he shorter? I wonder if what is. He was in the Evil Dead remake. Okay, okay. Yeah, I definitely know his face, but he looks like Glenn Powell to me. He looks like Glenn Powell. Like Glenn Powell's a little bit younger, I think, just a little, or is he older? Glenn Powell. This guy's yeah. How tall is Lou? Honorary Oscar. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I think he's kind of leaning in that direction now because he's doing a lot of television now. He's not going to get an Oscar nomination for Captain America: Brave New World. Just make the point that he's not really pushing to get Oscars anymore. I think he tried that like I said, those three movies, Witness and you know Mosquito Coast and The Fugitive, and he only got one Oscar nomination during that time. I think he's an overlooked actor because because of Indiana Jones and Han Solo. He's kind of become this yeah, The Fugitive. Yeah, Kimball again. Wow, I don't know. Richard Kim, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not skilled enough to do being a casting. I don't know. Could you have that? I hope they don't do a remake of it. I thought Harrison Ford was so great in that movie. Like I said, once you get past that 30 minutes, like if you know the crazy jump in the movie, which is like no one should be able to survive that. Once you get past that, the unbelievable parts there, it's like once you get past that, it becomes a different movie, and it's just so great, so great. Harrison Ford's so great in that movie. Future Train, yeah. Ray Fiennes, yep. I thought he was great. I thought he was great in that. I The Brutalist. I didn't absolutely love that movie, but I thought Adrian Brody was good in the movie. Obviously, he had won an Oscar before, and Timothy Chalamet was not nominated as well. But if you watch my video, I do a video of 10 actors, and I think there's like two actresses on there too that been nominated for Oscars before, but have never won. And Ray Fiennes is on that list. Absolutely, absolutely. I just actually I think it was last night. I watched. I don't know if you've ever seen Red Dragon. It's a the I guess it's more faithful to the book, Thomas Harris, but it's like the Manhunter remake basically. Um, Ray Fiennes is in that movie. He's really great in the movie. That movie to me is kind of underrated. If you ever seen Red Dragon, Anthony Hopkins, Edward Norton's in that movie too. If you see my video on the 10 actors and actresses that have been nominated for Oscars and never won, check that video out. You see, uh, yeah, yeah. So I wonder. I haven't seen. I don't know if I've seen him in anything recently, but yeah, I've seen. the movies that I saw in the filmography, I've seen him. Um, yeah, but do you agree? He looks like Glenn Powell a little bit with a beard, anyway. Michael Pitt. If Lou, Lou says no, okay. We look at Michael Pitt. I'm looking it up right now. Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah, Michael Pitt. Interesting. Bully. Yeah. Oh, he's in The Village years ago. The M Night Shyamalan movie. He's in that. Okay. Ghost in the Shell. Yep. Yeah, he does. Especially with a beard, he does kind of look like the. This look like he looks like the '90s Lars Ulrich, '80s, '90s. Okay. Wow. You just can't catch a break there. Fright Night. Love Fright Night. The original Fright Night. Yeah. Fright Night. The Rock movie. Yeah. Yeah. It's like a was a Brett Ratner. He's like he was a guy that's known for doing like action and comedy movies, like Rush Hour and those kind of movies. And the it actually Red Dragon was written. The screenplay was from Ted Talley, the guy that wrote The Silence of the Lambs. The guy that did the screenplay for that. He didn't do Hannibal, the next one, the third one, but he came back to do Red Dragon, and he's the one that wanted Ratner to direct the movie. Like that movie has such a great cast in it. Though. It's like for a sequel, like and to get Anthony Hopkins come back to play the character for the third time. Ray Fiennes is great in the movie. Yeah, I really like Manhunter, the Michael Mann movie, but Michael Mann didn't want to do like a horror movie, or he wanted to do a thriller, but didn't really want the horror elements in it. So it's very 80s. That movie's very 80s, but I love it though. But Hannibal Lecter is so overlooked in that movie. Like what we know from Anthony Hopkins playing Hannibal Lecter and Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal and Red Dragon. He's so great as a character, and I thought Brian Cox was just, he played it the way that he and Michael Mann both played that character a little bit too subtle, and he wasn't scary in that movie. And I think it was by design. Like I said, it's very '80s, very Miami Vice era. Manhunter is just different, and I appreciate that movie a lot. Was it the guy that the character that Edward Norton plays in Red Dragon? He plays that Will Graham character. That actor, he did Live and Let Die in L.A. I think yeah. Let me look at Manhunter. If you haven't seen Manhunter, it's Thomas Harris's first book. It's Red Dragon, but uh, Michael Mann did a different kind of movie. Like I said, I don't blame him for. I think that Michael Mann did a movie called The Keep that was like before Manhunter. That was a horror movie that he didn't want to make, and it was screwed with by the William Peterson. Yeah. William Peterson plays Will Graham and Manhunter. I mean, he's great in the movie, but I thought that Edward Norton did a great job as well, playing the same character, Will Graham. Oh, it's okay. I appreciate that, and thank you. It's okay. If you want to check it out, yeah, definitely, please check it out tomorrow or something like that. It's okay. And I don't force people to watch my videos, but I just as far as those topics, I it just brings me back to something. I'm trying to think of like what I put in those videos and stuff. And but yeah, I have like a video, 10 favorite actors, and as a I just did one just on 10 male actor, men. But then for the 10 actors and actresses that have been nominated for Oscars, but never won, I did a video for that as well. Live stunt show, yeah, James Bond. Wow, wow. I just actually just released a video. I ranked the 27 James Bond movies. I just released that yesterday. Um, if you want everyone to check that out, it's like hopefully I think my top 10's pretty solid. Some of the 11 through 27, you can argue the order of some of those, but I'm a huge Sean Connery fan, and also I like Daniel Craig quite a bit too. Emily Watson, yeah, she's really great. She plays the blind character in Red Dragon. And, yeah, she's really great. How she kind of laid out the room when she went into the Dollar Hide's home, and how she kind of measured exactly how many steps it was from the front door to the clock, and all that kind of comes back later to help her. Like Chucky movie. Yeah, if it doesn't have Brad Dourif, I'm not totally sure. Brad Dourif, I think back playing the character, but Mark Hamill did Chucky for one, like the Child's Play remake. And no, I really like Mark Hamill too, especially as a voiceover actor. But to me, you can't really replace Brad Dourif. I don't think I've ever seen that movie. I know that he did Hannibal Rising. It's like he learned why you don't let the novelists write the screenplay for a movie, because uh, maybe that's part of. Have you ever seen Hannibal Rising? I blame the lead actor from that movie. That's the actor that's actually passed away now. That there's some issues with that, and also having the guy that wrote, Thomas Harris writing the screenplay doesn't seem like a great idea necessarily either. But oh, okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was like Red Dragon was in was it 2000, early 2000s, like 2002, 2003, 2004, something like that, somewhere in there. No, 2006. 2006 is Red Dragon. Yeah, yeah. To me, it's underrated for a sequel. Like I think, especially a director that's not known for doing thrillers. He didn't want to do anything. Brett Ratner didn't want to do any kind of horror. That Defending Your Life, phenomenal movie. Yeah, I just got the Criterion release for that last year. It's so great. That's a fantastic movie. That became my favorite movie when I saw it there. I love that. Very very kind of was it early '90s. Yeah, yeah. Albert Brooks, Meryl Streep's really great in the movie. It has a Rip Torn, Buck Henry's in it. Yeah, Lee Grant, Shirley MacLaine. Shirley MacLaine's really great in the movie. Yeah, I love that movie. I was like, when I saw it, like, yeah, this is my favorite Albert Brooks movie now. Like when I couldn't believe it, like how good that movie was. I love that the scene early in that movie where Albert Brooks is in his car and he's got these the CD. Remember the long boxes that they had with CDs back in like early '90s, late '80s, early '90s. He had a lot of those the long boxes in his front seat. Like wow, and how cheap gas prices were too at the time as well. Comedy scene, rich. Well, comedy scene person. Become Rich. Okay. Well, like I said, I saw Cruella tonight, and Emma Stone. What happens to her and Emma Thompson? Like she, all of a sudden, Emma Stone is she's now the owner of this mansion. I don't know. I think about all becoming sudden became rich. Think about that. Yeah, defending your life. Like I got like all the. I had seen Mother years before, back in the '90s, and I bought Mother. I bought. I think there's like four Albert Brooks movies in the Criterion Collection now. I think I bought them all last year. Mother is like the only one had seen. Defending Your Life was new. I got that first his first movie. Um, it's like a documentary kind of thing. It's kind of like a rockumentary, like sort of like they say it was like 5 years before this is Spinal Tap. It's like looking at his filmography. Yeah, I forgot that Albert Brooks was in Taxi Driver back in 1976. I think it's called Real Life. As far as the yeah, Real Life is the documentary that's was released on the Criterion Collection last year. First time I've ever seen that one. Lost in America is another one. That's my second favorite. Lost in America was I love that movie too. Um, I had never seen that one before. I heard about it for years, but the Criterion released it. They released it a while back, but I just got into the Albert Brooks kind of kick back in November last year, and pull back here. Yeah, yeah. I've learned so much about Criterion. I mean, I used to I collected Criterion since like the late '90s. I think my first movie with them was Chasing Amy, which is like it's on DVD and it's out of print now, and never gotten a 4K, never gotten a Blu-ray release through Criterion. Like I said, it's out of print now. Jim Belushi, yeah, that reminds me of Thief. Have you ever seen Thief, the Michael Mann movie with James Caan? Okay, taking your business, yeah, yeah. I saw something on YouTube recently. He says he never really knew his brother, although John Belushi, all that well, because Belushi was like 5 years older. So he said he was never got to be really close to his brother because his brother was 5 years older and he was already kind of in the business with the National Lampoon and what was it, like Second City in Chicago, and he never really got to know his brother all that well. It's like he said he really looked up to his brother, but really didn't know him very well. Think about depending on like no, too. I like the ending to that movie a lot. They're small budget, yeah, yeah. I like Rip Torn quite a bit in the movie. See, I've never seen the Scout before or the Muse. I've never seen those two. Those are probably come to the Criterion Collection now. It's like Albert Brooks is like he's in his 80s now. So only 77. I'm sorry, 77. When I watched that, the first, if you ever watched the first episode of Saturday Night Live, Albert Brooks did the short films and stuff with them. He was working for SNL even back then. It's like a short film by Albert Brooks. Um, I've always thought he's really funny. He was the brother of Super Dave Osborne, or yeah, that was his brother. Super Dave was his brother, which is his brother was Bob Einstein. Bob has passed away now, but Bob is. If you ever saw Super Dave, and he was on Curb Your Enthusiasm for quite a few years, and he's passed away now. But he was so fun as Super Dave. It was kind of like a spoof on Evil Knievel. So, but thanks. I think I'm gonna we're going for almost out 90 minutes now, Brooks. Right. He's funny though. I always love that kind of Jewish humor. Love the way and the mother, like I watching it again last year, I realized that that dynamic with his mother worked so well, and it just made so much sense. Watching it at the second, I may have seen it like maybe a couple times in the '90s, but been years since I had ever seen it, and that connection that he makes with his mother, that his mother was resentful of him, that she gave up her life to raise her two sons, and that there's something mentally there that she was blaming her Albert Brooks and Albert. And they both came to that conclusion. This is why you hate me so much, and this is why you resent me so much because of that. Because you had to give up your life to raise your children. That whole thing. I was like, wow, makes so much sense. Watching that again, that was in 1996 when he did Mother. But I enjoy that movie so much more now. Debbie Reynolds was his mother in the movie. She was obviously Carrie Fisher's mother as well. Which is, when Carrie Fisher passed away, Debbie Reynolds passed away not too long after that, like almost like the next day or something like that after Carrie Fisher died. Yeah, there's so many I haven't seen. I mean, I think the ones that I have on Criterion, the four that I have, are the only ones I've ever seen from Albert Brooks as far as his directing. But like I said, he was a Taxi Driver as well, but he was great in that. Favorite Jack Palance. He was obviously in Batman. He's in City Slickers. I know those movies. I'd look at his filmography. He died in 2006, 87. Look at his filmography. He was in Tango and Cash. Cyborg 2. Wow. Wow. Quite a few movies. Marvel, huh? Not bad, yeah. I'd like to see Batman versus Spider Man, but I don't know if it's not a villain. Gets a Marvel villain. Yeah, no. I don't know if you've ever seen there's that thing about Batman versus like Predator, and maybe I think it's Predator and like an Alien from the Alien series franchise. I think he takes those. I think it takes those guys on. It's a low budget fan film. The fan, yeah. Hmm. Howard Hughes. Yeah. Wow. Oh. Well, I think I'm gonna go for tonight. With about 90 minutes now. Really appreciate you hanging out tonight. Well, yeah, Acres of Movies. Yeah, yeah. I really appreciate everybody that checked it out tonight. Oh, it's Corey. Corey. Corey, you still here? Appreciate it. If everybody put a like on the video. I appreciate that. Thanks, Corey, man. Have a good night there. I think you're like an hour behind me, but I really appreciate it there. Jake Gyllenhaal villain. Yeah, Mysterio. I liked it. If you watch my video about the favorite actors with at least one Oscar nomination, you'd be surprised who's on there. A lot of people we mentioned tonight are on that list as far as great actors that have not never won an Oscar, but are deserving of getting an Oscar. Like I said, Harrison Ford's probably honorary at this point, but just at his age. But he's an icon to me, somebody I've grown up with. So, but but yeah, I'm gonna sign off for tonight. But I really appreciate it tonight. I think I'm gonna watch probably Criterion that I got in the flash sale recently, which I'm gonna do a video about that. Michelle Pfeiffer, I really like her as Catwoman. She's great in Grease 2, Grease 2 years ago. Uh, she was a good actress in her day, especially 80s and in the 80s for sure. So, but yeah, I'm going to sign off tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good night there. I'm going to hit the end stream and appreciate it. Yeah, when I do my video in April, do another live stream in April. I'll definitely hope you tune in for that one. But yeah, thank you. Everybody have a great night, and we'll talk to you later. I'm going to hit end stream and